We were lucky to have for our event the ENV200 test vehicle from Nissan over for display. When you look into the back, you see that the battery arrangement is quite different than the Nissan Leaf, although it has the same size battery. Up front, it's a way roomier car too. It has the standard ports, as you will soon see. It is made in Spain. They're bringing it over here, testing it to see how it would do in the American market, although I could say pretty much up front now, it would do fine, and this would be a great car for the market. Here you see the quick charge port, the L1, L2 port. Very interesting that it has a refrigerated battery cooling system, and quick charging several times a day is easily possible with this new system, and that is naturally very important for businesses, for them to use the car during the day. Inside, there are elements of the Nissan Leaf. The steering wheel looks the same, and anybody who's driven the Nissan Leaf would pretty much feel comfortable pretty fast in this car.
All right, well, welcome everybody to SacEV, and this tonight is a really, really exciting night for many of us. So the idea of seeing a museum quality, a national museum quality level exhibit here is just really unbelievable. So we're going to be doing the unveiling of that. You'll get to find out a lot about how we got there, how it was made, and then we'll go on to a number of other topics. You can see we've got a full set of topics tonight, some updates on previous topics and some new topics. Unfortunately, one of our topics, the speaker got called away. That's for the I-80 corridor charging. The speaker got called away last minute for a emergency water meeting. So there's a water crisis on, and he said that's his first priority, and he got pulled off for that. So I think we can all forgive him. He'll be back here next month. So I should take a moment to remind everybody, turn off your cell phones. I want to start off again thanking SMUD for providing us the facilities. Just truly outstanding. And this is just one piece of what they do. It's just, we are so lucky.
That was from Amy.
Oh, are those?
She said yes.
Oh, we got a surprise for everybody tonight too. So you'll be glad you came. I wish I could provide you. And the cat is out of the bag. So SMUD does things on so many different levels, all the way from the executives, all the way to each individual at SMUD. Just seems to really care about the community and about the environment, and working in a very positive, collaborative way. You guys at SMUD, I want to first thank you and then suggest that you ought to be really proud to be able to work for such a company, and you guys are making that up. So anybody, as I've said before, and I've told board members on the board for this, if you see a SMUD power pole, go up and give it a hug. All right? Of course, if anybody's come in late, there's food out on the right. There's restrooms a little bit further. And the first thing we do to get started, till people calm down, but it sounds like you're getting pretty relaxed already. There's a couple quizzes. We've got, I'm looking for my mouse. Here we are. We've got a few things here. We've got a free card for a free car wash. A windshield chip repair, so if you have a chip in that windshield. Some clothing. Here, David Becker I don't think he was going to be able to make it tonight, but okay. And so we have, I think, 3 or 4 questions for tonight. How many millions of dollars of rebates from California, the state of California, have been received by EV buyers since it started? So we're going to do a raise your hand if you want, so I can, instead of just shouting out, because I found I never figured out who was shouting before. Way low. What? Over this side of the room. Getting much, much closer. Ralph, yeah, okay. Oh, no, I'm sorry, I wish. 120, you get, between a couple of you, they're getting close. No. All right. So, in the back of the wall? 1 what? 160. 160. No, we got to keep coming down from that. So you're between 100 and 115. Who said that? All right. Close enough. 113. 113 million. So please come up, help yourself here. Let's see. The both California and U.S. wide markets. Pardon me? We've got this. We've got some. Not the shirts. Chip repair. I'll have to give that to you. I left it at home. All right. All right. Was it? Because the one I read only referred to plug-ins, whether BEVs or HPV EVs. Right. Okay. How many in both those two markets? What was the big milestones hit? Neil.
California is at 102 and change. We hit 100,000, and continental U.S. is at over 250.
Excellent. That's it. So you guys now, read all those web pages and the blogs out before these meetings. So here's an interesting. I gotta not just read it. I need to flip it. So the Chinese Automotive Technology and Research Center picked a U.S. partner. And they established the SacEV Policy Lab, a U.S.-China Policy Lab. Who was the world-leading organization? Okay. Who said? Oregon, did you say UC Davis? That was it. All right. Okay, here's the tough one. If you guys have been paying attention, watching important stuff. This is for if you've been watching important stuff.
I don't know. What border is it? How do you spell Fairbanks? He has a weird border.
Oh.
I don't know where that Fairbanks is. You don't understand Canadian spelling?
Yeah, that was Canadian spelling. All right. How many miles?
0. There's no distance between border and Fairbanks.
Wrong. The judges rule that wrong.
Help you look.
Next. I did the conversions. Yeah, we noted that. All right. So who wants to take a shot at the guess? Good, really good guess, but a bit lower.
27. 25.
How much? Nope, still below.
2,000.
Up.
22.
20. Who said 22? Wait, you already won one, didn't you?
Not today, I haven't.
All right, 2279. Close enough. We'll call that. All right.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me now? I'm not used to talking with the microphone. No, I see no.
Oh, that's just for the camera bend. The other microphone.
Oh, this is for. Oh. So we have two microphones to deal with. I'm sorry. How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So I have to remember to stay here at this podium. Normally when I teach class, I kind of wander around just to keep students awake. So this is a new experience for me. Well, good evening. My name is Ben French. I'm one of the teachers and coordinators at American River College in our automotive department. John McCormick in the back. Give a wave, John. He's our department head and a fellow auto instructor. And John and I are kind of the, I don't know, we're the two crazy guys in the automotive program at American River College who are constantly trying to move it forward and keep up with industry and keep developing new and exciting programs for our students. And with that, we work with high schools, we work with great organizations like SMUD, Nissan, the Car Dealers Association, and we were really happy to be able to work with you guys in putting together this electric vehicle cutaway. So with that, I'll go to the next slide here. When we met with Suzette and Paul about, and Owen with our goals with this, we talked about we wanted a vehicle that could educate the public a little bit about electric vehicles. We really, and that kind of my thing being a techno guy, I really wanted to show the technology as much as we could, show functionality, and Suzette was really good about making sure that we wanted people to be able to get in and out of the car, and can my child's car seat fit in the back of the car, and all these types of things. And then we also wanted it to be interactive, and so those were our big goals. And the overall theme is that we wanted it to look cool when it was all done, right? The most important thing there. Nissan had already put together great cutaways. We looked at one at the Fuel Cell Partnership, which is their fuel cell cutaway. And of course, there was the great Leaf cutaway that showed the batteries that did the international show circuit. So that, they had set the bar pretty high for us to do. So we had kind of used those cars to develop what we were looking for, but we had to keep it where we wanted it to be functionality, where you could actually get inside the car and see, does it have the leg room that I want it to have, and that type of thing. So as we started the project, we did run into a lot of challenges with it. One of those things was time. Not necessarily time from SMUD. You guys were really good, but time within our own school system to make things happen. It's a bit of a government type system, and it's stuff doesn't happen very quickly. We ran into some parts availability issues, and we were asking some of our local dealers for things that they don't normally get asked for. So that was a challenge. Purchasing, which gets back to time, and that's why I listed time again, because at our school it takes so long to purchase something that it's a drawn out process. So we're still trying to make sure all our vendors get paid from the project. And then we had a little bit of electrical tomfoolery. In addition to the body work, we wanted it functional. We wanted you to be able to plug in your charging station and have it look like the car was charging. So we had that challenge to overcome, and then the interactiveness and just some things where when we took it apart, some of the folks helping us didn't realize that, oh, the dash was supposed to work after you put it back together. And so there was some scrambling around, I'll be honest with you. And then, just that brought time issues again. And then there happened to be a lot of factors that just things that came up that were totally out of our control that we had to overcome and deal with. So I have that 101 factors out of my control. That was a big one right there. So this is pretty much how the car looked when we got it. It was a pretty good looking car. It had been sitting around a little bit. It definitely needed a good wash and scrubbing up, but it was a nice looking vehicle. But it was minus the battery pack underneath. And missing the battery pack was fine, except it presented us some challenges because we wanted the car to look like it had a battery pack in it, and we wanted it to interact with the charging station correctly. So this brought challenges that we didn't think of. For instance, we thought we were running on schedule, and then we met with Paul and some folks from SMUD, and they said, the car sits kind of tall. And we realized, yeah, you're right. When you take the big bulk of weight out of the car, yeah, it does sit kind of like a 4x4 truck. It had kind of like an AMC Eagle look to it. So we had to clamp down the springs to get it to sit normally. And we got it within a 1/4 inch of stock ride height. So I figured we were good there. So we had that challenge, and then we had the body work. We wanted it to be easy access. So we removed the driver's side door and the pillars there, and had to work really hard to blend the body contours together and leave no sharp edges. We also wanted to hide things that normally it's not a big deal to see a door jamb, but when it's a show car, you don't really want to see all the mechanisms that were there in a door jamb. So all those things became involved as we had to cover things, fill, and do lots of body work and spraying and that type of thing. Here you can see some shots of different levels of repair from some of the work that went on the back seat as we're trying to fabricate plexiglass panels. We got very good at working with plexiglass, bending it, shaping it. It's amazing how you can heat it up and kind of fix unintentional mistakes in it. And just some of the things like we did to the charge ports, we ended up painting that area so it would stand out more and adding black backlights to different functions of the car so you could really see the components. This slide shows you some of the work we did under the hood and some of the parts like the master disconnect. We were going to use a different one, but I figured some of you folks would go, hey, that's not a Nissan Leaf service disconnect. And I just didn't want to hear all the scrutiny about that. So we actually sourced a good one, but I'll tell you, it was a little hard getting. Most of our local dealers thought we were crazy. And I ultimately, we have a Nissan Leaf of our own at the college, and it became a parts donor. And so getting back to that time issue, we ended up taking some parts off of our car, most of which I got back, because I did drive our car here. If I go back a couple slides, here's a great example. When we got the car, it was missing the E and the A from Leaf, right? Well, here's my car tonight. You can see it there. It's missing that E and A. I still haven't got that fixed. We're working on it. Yeah. So I mentioned interacting with the charger. We finally sourced that modular EV power unit like someone would use for a custom electric vehicle conversion if they wanted to use a public charging station. And that was the right ticket there to basically fool that charging station into thinking that, hey, I'm hooked up to a real vehicle here, so to speak. So when you use it, you'll hear the charging station click and activate just like it would. That control box has the same communication signals as the car would have. The power doesn't actually go anywhere from there, but it does make the charging station work. Now, earlier I mentioned 101 things out of my control. This was one of those things. In the midst of working on this project, we finally got approved to have our parking lot resealed. So what that meant is every single car in our program had to be pulled into the shop. And so what you can't see is the Leaf is just outside of this picture, but it's up on a lift, and I have cars under it. So that did impede the progress, which got me back to the time issue. It was a very eventful summer at our college, that's for sure. I wanted to show you some of our crew that we had work on this. John and I worked on the car a little bit. I did a lot of the electrical work, but we also coordinated the project. But these guys here in the picture really did a lot of the nuts and bolts, and we were very fortunate to have some great students at American River College. And we have folks from all kinds of backgrounds. A lot of the folks working on this car are folks that actually have come to our country, and they've learned the language, and they've brought some skills with them, and then increased their skills in our program, and did a lot of just fantastic work on this vehicle. So like these two gentlemen right here at the top, we have Alex, and he's our in-house machinist, if you will. He does a lot of our cutaways, and we have an old Bridgeport mill that we got donated a couple years ago, and we've been putting that baby to work. And so all the components that you see where you can look into a piece and something is nicely machined away, Alex there at the top did that. And in that picture there, he's actually working on one of our other electric vehicle projects where we converted that Volkswagen Golf to be an electric vehicle. The gentleman at the bottom, Vasily, he is our ace body man and fabricator, and he is the one that showed me all the neat ways that you can work with plexiglass. I did not think you could get it to bend the ways we were able to get it to bend with the amount of tooling that we had. And he was helping me just here this afternoon getting the last labels and badging on. It's nothing like the last minute, which brings us back to those time constraints. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about our program. I know that some of you guys know us very well and others of you may not, but we have a very excellent automotive program. We're fully ASE certified. And what that means is that we teach our students what they need to know to go out and become master ASE certified technicians themselves. In addition, we have an auto body program that's off campus at Mather Air Force Base, and we also have a heavy-duty diesel truck program. But what's neat about that is we have complete coverage, whether you want to work on cars or trucks or learn how to paint and straighten frames and do some of the body work that we did on this car, we have all those areas covered. In the last few years, we've started an alternative fuels program, and then we got smart because we were getting kind of overlooked, and so I added green vehicle technology, and by putting that word green in there, it gave us a little bit more notice on campus. John McCormick in the back actually wrote the initial alternative fuels classes for our program, and we've continued to evolve those, and I still have more classes to take through. It's a struggle for us to keep up to date with industry, but we try our best to do just that and keep coming out with creative classes and trying to meet industry demand and future demand. So here you have a picture of one of our students. This is Logan. He's actually in alternative fuels class, and we start that class and we do some testing of gasoline, and then we look at a gasoline powered car, and then we start comparing it to all the alternatives to that. So he's there testing some gasoline, and then he's going to look at E85 and see how the specific gravity changes on the different fuels. When it comes to tools and equipment, especially in this area of green vehicle technology, if you will, we have just built a tremendous program that's like no one else around here. So this is my moment to brag a little bit, if you guys haven't noticed. But we have just great training cutaways. From that top one there is a Toyota hybrid system and a little plastic model that the students can play with. There's one of our school cars below it, which is a plug-in Prius. These pictures show kind of our next step, and so once we get the classes done and through curriculum, we've written up an electric vehicle construction / service and repair course. We know that you need to make things fun for your students, and nothing's more fun than actually building a vehicle. And we found a great outfit called Electric Auto Shop that was building these switch chassis, and so we partnered with them, and we're going to end up with 3 vehicles like that the students can disassemble and reassemble and make into electric car. One of the things we found out by doing conversions is we realized that you spend 90% of your time doing fabrication, and that didn't allow you very much time to learn the electric components. And so with a vehicle like this being open architecture, we can really learn the components and then transition the student from there, where they see all the separate components from motor controllers to contactors to that type of thing, where then they look at a vehicle like the Nissan Leaf, where a lot of the components have been put together and put in a compartment where they're either built into one unit or they're shaped a little differently. It gives them a foundation to build on. So the second part of that class will be working on cars like the Nissan Leaf, the Chevy Volt, or that plug-in Prius. But this will be kind of, I think, the fun part at the beginning to get students hooked and in the door. And then lastly, a great program. It's not just about your equipment and tools and certifications, but it's about your students. And we do have some great students at the college of all different ages that take classes in our program. We have students there running a car in the dyno as part of the alternative fuels class, students in hybrid classes doing some high voltage checks. And then with that, we work with our local dealers, and so you have a picture of one of the students that actually worked on this Nissan Leaf, and who's interviewing at Honda, and now he's a technician working at Honda today. So it's pretty neat to get these students trained and get them out in industry. So with that, I guess it's probably my time to go, unless you guys have questions about what we did. But it was a great project. It was a lot of work. The hard things really weren't the nuts and bolts of doing the work. It was more of the coordinating everything and getting everything bought that you needed to buy, and then hopefully getting reimbursed for it at the end, not from SMUD, but from our own internal system. But it was been a really great project. We're really excited to have it here and to have the public see it. So thank you.
Well, I think it would be great now if you could bring up your team up here together with Suzette. And so we can get everybody up front, the team up front. And we'll maybe get a picture of you guys together.
I just brought John McCormick with me tonight. A lot of our other students are currently in class, or they're helping me work the tool counter right now. So I couldn't steal. So you're stuck with just us. But
that's all right.
All right.
Does anybody have a camera? Take a...
Oh.
So here, there's no camera.
Anybody have a phone?
Don't touch any orange cables.
Come on, man. Especially if you're standing in water.
Are we ready, Eugen?
Yep.
All right. Here it goes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's nice. This makes my time.
That looks kind of cool. Cutaway hamburger or charger.
Okay, take a look.
Yes, absolutely. You better swap mine out. 2 hours. We need some breaks.
And that's why you're doing it after hours. Looks like you're doing it. Did you see it out?
Oh, I got
That door's open.
Even have a little baby in the back.
So this is a based on the homes. All of that.
Hey, man. Beefing about a parking brake.
Oh, man. It survived 5 minutes. Is that turned on?
That's funny. Put in a little baby.
Oh, okay.
Stand up for a moment and say thank you. Our personal experience has been not only that these guys are just really supportive of EVs and the activities that we're doing, but they make really damn good chargers and at an amazingly affordable price. So we're so lucky to have them in our neighborhood.
Hey, as of a month ago, I'm the proud owner of New Clifford Creek. I finally upgraded to level 2.
All right.
Oh yeah, you bet. And the woman who was on the phone just walked me through all the different options.
Probably Amanda. That's great. I do have a quick announcement.
Yeah, please do. Do you want to?
So, there's a lot of you people who.
Oh, you want to come up here and say?
Oh.
If it's an important one, if it's important, we ought to know it.
I don't need that.
So,
Well, no, this is for the
so we
tape.
have a 40 amp charger at our commercial charging stations, charging at 30 amps, right? There's a lot of complaints about that from lots of people behind cameras and stuff. People who always kind of, but announced today that we're now charging at 32 amps, so it puts out 7.7 kilowatts, a little more power for your commercial charging station. So just came out today, so you guys are the first to know.
Yay!
What's the number? Still the CS40 and HS40, they're just on steroids.
Retrofits? Yeah.
I should have. That's a good question. Probably. For the good folks of Sacramento, probably.
The other thing to mention too is David. I don't know how many of you have seen some of the information about National Electric Drive Week or Drive Electric Week, I guess. It's coming up on Sunday. We'll have more about that coming up. But if you had looked at their website, they have shirts for, you can go out and buy some shirts. And these are your basic T-shirt with a little bit of text on the front and the back. And they're not bad. But what David has done over the last year in terms of getting nice polo shirts, sweatshirts with a SacEV, and who else? Someone else helped?
Laura.
Oh, and Laura with some really. Oh yeah, that's what you did, the sweatshirts. That's right. So what these guys have done to have very, very affordable but high quality, what I think is really some great quality, is to be really, we need to give them a round of appreciation for that. And I think. Stop by and talk to David. We've got some more up here, so if you want to pick one up, there's still several left. So.
And if you have a favorite shirt you want to have embroidered, talk to Laura.
Laura, yes.
She has all the coding for our logo. It could be put on any shirt you want.
Okay.
So if you hate green.
We got to have green. Okay. So, how do we go backwards? I was actually asked to talk a little bit about the adventure that I had in taking the first electric car from California, and actually the Mexican border, all the way up to Fairbanks. And where's Colin? There he is, Colin back in the back. Raise your hand again. Gave some help in contacting media along the route, made sure I was kept busy while I was up in Alaska talking to radio and print guys. We were fascinated about seeing an electric car come all that way. But we were told, Oregon again was helping me planning this route. He and I were both told that you couldn't do it. Someone else had tried it. It could not be done. And this was just back in April. I kept going up to Oregon. I kept saying, I'm getting kind of nervous about that. I'm getting, this is, this is like there's bears and, and like there's no one else around and all that. And then I've got an aluminum car that they could try to peel open to get to me.
But we told you to leave the country. And
and Oregon said, oh, no, this guy, don't worry about it. It can be done. You can do it. So. Yeah, I should have. With his encouragement, with a number of other people supporting it, we took off. Victoria and I went both south to touch the border, just to say we go all the way from Mexico to Fairbanks. But the key, the tough part of it is once you get into Canada. The lower part of the British Columbia is fine, but as you start getting upper British Columbia and into the Yukon, it gets tougher. So. Just to, these are out there to really fully prepare for this. You can't see the shotgun, but actually several people suggested that, but a lot of the people in Canada said, don't you even think about that. It had a custom-made mattress and sheets back in there, so I could, if I had to, I could pull over and sleep while charging. That's a fold-up bike. It's not bent. It's actually a fold-up bike, so I could ride if I needed to find food or help. Turned out neither of those were necessary. And this is kind of what the trip is, at least from where we are in Sacramento on north. And you can see just for this, the upper part of it, from the border, it was the 2279 miles. It was that earlier trivia question. And if you go all the way back down to the Mexican border, you're almost 4,400 miles. And that's one way. The way back came also with the help of ferries to kind of enjoy the way back and see the scenery and such. So at the beginning, of the lower part of British Columbia, well, in the U.S., it was all superchargers. To get into the British Columbia, it was one supercharger, but then into the regular J-plugs, which many of them were Clipper Creek, rebranded sometimes under Sun Country Highway. Those got me about halfway through British Columbia. From then on, it was really kind people is what got me charged. It was people in RV parks, as you see here, tire shops, motels, arc welders.
Was there a deep fat fryer somewhere in there?
Those are what?
A deep fat fryer?
Yes, there was. At one of the RV parks, they kept saying there was a 240 volt circuit somewhere, and we had a language problem because I didn't understand Cantonese. And the manager of the place at the time when I was there only knew Cantonese, but she had a little electronic translator. And we finally figured out the only 240 volt circuit or 230 volt circuit was the deep fat fryer. So that was unplugged. The cable went through the kitchen, out to the porch, out to the Tesla. And by 11 o'clock at night, we were charging. And that's the one time I did use the fold-up bike, because the motel was maybe 3/4 of a mile, not that far. But so at 11 o'clock at night, I rode to the motel, checked in, and got a nice shower, got ready for bed. I said, I'll just check we can now. We have the technology, right? How's the car charging? It wasn't. All right, so get dressed, unfold the bike, get back out there, ride the 3/4 of the mile back, knock on the door, get the portable translator and say, it's not working. And looked at it, and there was just no power coming to it, so clearly it looked like a breaker had been thrown. And the translator understood what a circuit breaker was, and she went back, and we looked at it, and it was a breaker was rated only for 30 amps. So scaled down the Tesla, started the charging again, and it went through the night. So a couple little things like that. But I think overall, the thing that was just impressed me the most were the people up there and how interested they were in electric cars, how wonderful, nice they were to work on a 3-day weekend. I didn't know it was a 3-day weekend coming up, but on a 3-day weekend, Friday at like 5 o'clock, someone was holding off going with their family camping so we could put together and build a custom charging, a custom power adapter. And this is after the auto shop that I went into had the power, but they had the outlet that I didn't have a connector for. So she said, we can solve that, and she went into the butcher store. And it took me a while to figure out why would a butcher store help us with this. And it turned out the owner of the butcher store also owned an electrical supply house. So we jumped in his pickup, went to the supply house, got the parts we needed, stood there around a 55-gallon steel drum, wiring this thing up to put it together on the Friday evening of their beginning of their 3-day weekend with a family waiting probably at home in the minivan or the SUV somewhere. So just again and again, wonderful people. That's really helped. Now I'm totally confident that as I see what's going on, as the RV parks are upgrading all their electrical services to higher amperage and higher voltage. They're wiring more electricity out from the main towns out into the highways. Sun Country Highways is deploying more and more of those chargers out there that people will be able to beat this time dramatically, every year for the next 5 years. So we're going to make a trophy out of this. Whoever beats the prior time gets the trophy. We'll try to keep some attention on this to keep supporting the Sun Tours. Or it's not Sun Tours, Sun Country Highway, and just help make sure the electric highway is extended. George.
You got Fairbanks this time, but a boarder is someone who is a resident in the
yes. Yes. It's there again, isn't it? Yeah.
What is the time to meet? 9 days or 59 hours?
I'll boil it down to hours because we're going to have to go that way. It's a Canada one. I don't think the big excitement is in going from the Mexico border up to Canada. So we're going to place the trophy on from the Canadian border. Anywhere you want to go along the Canadian border, any route you want to pick, as long as it's a land-based route and not a ferries. What? Yeah. I do recommend taking the ferries back. It's a marvelous way to get back. Becky.
Would you do it again?
Yeah, this time I'd do it. I wouldn't try to race it or to get up there as fast as I can. I'd take the easiest routes and take my wife with me this time. Because there's a lot of beautiful stuff that I just had to rush by. So, to show a couple little. Now, it wasn't all that much work. Oh, I do want to mention that, especially toward the border with Alaska, they're completely reworking the roads, and this almost have to do every year because the ice they call ice heaves, so they just lifts up the roads and starts working on. They've got about 10 universities that are doing research on how to avoid this. But this is kind of what some of the road looks like, and everybody, motorcycle riders told me about getting bruises on their legs from rocks being thrown up by passing trucks. People pointed to their windshields that were cracked. So before I did this, I went to put some car protection on, a wrap on this, wrapped about 3/4 or more of the car by Appearance Solutions down in Sacramento. Did a great job, and I was either very, very lucky or they did a great job. So as far when I got back, I only saw the one dent I put in it before I left. So then it was tough most of the way there. Along the way, there's this beautiful hot springs that was sort of that's a little tiny dam they made up. It's sort of gravel, sandy base. Seats are put into the, concrete seats are put in underwater in the main part of the river there. It was just, and I went back at night, at midnight, and there was still a crowd. I mean, not a big crowd, very comfortable. But people there all the time. It's just a wonderful, delightful thing. Thought about canceling the whole project and just staying there. With the help of Collins, I had a chance to talk to a number of newspaper reporters and radio people. You can see here the guy in the upper left is a reporter with a Tesla grin on his face. And they all learned what the Tesla grin was like. And you can see them on the bottom picture with the Alaska pipeline in the background. Little juxtaposition. And I should have tried to accurately keep count the number of test drives, but everywhere I go, in fact, that's the first thing I would do when I would stop somewhere. Before I asked for electricity, I'd say, have you ever driven an electric car? Have you ever heard of a Tesla? Yeah, I've heard of it, but would you like to drive one? And so then we go off on a spin and come back, and they were very willing to let me charge it up. So that worked out really well. Highly recommend that approach. The other interesting thing is that you go up and ask, this is something we're going to have to figure out, I think, as an EV community, part of the industry, is we want in some of the more remote areas, we really can get a lot of help from RV parks. They have both what they call 30 amp service and 50 amp service. 50 amp service typically either at 208 or 240 volts in there. And not to be careful you're not misled, the 30 amp is only 110 volt or right down in there. So it's not just a little less or half as much. It's a dramatically lower. But this is why I said the RV parks are upgrading, because RVs are starting to ask for a higher level of service. But the RV parks in general, they didn't know how much they were paying for kilowatt. Often they had a big, huge Caterpillar diesel generator, like this wide, that high, 10, 15 feet long, generating power for the park. They had a second one that was a standby one in case the first one, or they had to refill the fuel in the first one or it failed. But they didn't know what it was really costing them per kilowatt. But they had gotten a feeling over time as to how much the typical RV cost them. Now, if you compare our cars, as hungry as they are, when they come up with only 10% left in the battery, You know, what our profile will look like on the charging there and connected to their power is so much different than an RV. That's a television, maybe the microwave, you know, things coming on and it goes, it's sporadic. But we're going to take every watt we can as long as we're plugged in. So their pricing models on a per slot basis are not set up for us, and they don't know that yet. I mean, really, they haven't realized it yet. But as we get more of our cars, go out there and start trying to, we reach these outer peripheral areas and we want to get power, we'll eventually start figuring it out. I think we need to be proactive and start suggesting some sort of model that makes it in their interest as well as our own. Okay.
What do they typically charge?
Well, they charge anywhere from nothing, many times nothing, to someone said $5, someone said $20. So they were just throwing out numbers. They honestly didn't know.
I was saying the alliteration.
I'm sorry, you want to go back?
The title? No, the title.
Oh, the title?
The alliteration.
Yeah, T5. That was Colin who came up with that piece of brilliance. Yeah.
Those guys are going to all belong to some sort of campground association.
Right.
So that would be relatively easy
to reach to, yeah.
Yeah, the liaison with them.
Yes, you're right. There's more than one association, but there's a few. But we've got a path to them. You're absolutely right. Okay. This is one of the newspapers. I know there were several, and when I was in the interviewed by the newspaper, the reporters, I only stayed the one day, so I never really got to see what the article looked like. I sometimes go back and look at it on the web, but I had to just hopefully. I think everything turned out okay from what I'd heard talking to folks. Is that just my angle on that, or is that? Yeah, that was a fortunate juxtaposition.
That just happened to happen as your article came out.
Unfortunate juxtaposition. Anybody recognize the house in the upper right? Sarah used to live there. It's the governor's mansion in Juneau. And below it is also the glacier in Juneau, where I spent the weekend in Juneau, so I was able to enjoy that as well.
Did you see a rush up over there?
Yeah, I went up to ask him, I said, can I get a picture when I drive up onto the ferry and I head home?
Sorry.
Can I jump out quickly, run behind, take a picture of the car going into the ferry? And that ended up saying, well, why don't you drive up? They brought me up to the front. Then we spent like 10, 15 minutes taking pictures and well, everybody else there is up on the decks, watching and waiting for us to finish. So next,
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm new here, so I don't know enough. But so you carried with you a charging?
I carried a charging cord that could attach it to outlets. The first half of the trip was I went to car charging stations like we have here at SMUD.
Yeah.
But the upper part, I had to look for different outlets. And the one that comes with all our cars now is at 110. And the Tesla has also adapters to go to various other types of power. So I'm about wrapped up. Any last questions before I hand this over? Yeah.
Very like
What was that again?
Did you carry like a construction extension cord or something?
I carried along a bunch of different adapters, a 12-foot extension cord. I carried also a 30-foot lower power cord, but I never touched it. 3/4 of the adapters I did not use. So I'll write something up and I'll tell you the ones that were the most popular and the ones that were the most important. Yeah.
Just working off the coincidence of you running over a woman in the parking lot in Atlanta. I live in Davis, and when I drive into Sacramento for a commute, there's this billboard for a casino up in Tahoe, or Reno, I don't know which. And about a year ago, as I was driving by, I noticed it was advertising the vans that were coming, and it said, Tesla, bad company.
That's right, there is a band called Tesla. All right, so I chewed up a lot of time. I really want to make sure we get this, the full program, let you get out of here in a reasonable hour. So, next show, I want to say a few words about, let me first say a word to myself about your sustainability forum. I saw the video that was put together with Lloyd on that. It was an awesome video on the card art. If you have a chance to see it, David, do we have that on our webpage? So link to it?
I don't have it.
Okay, I'll give you a pointer to it. It's on YouTube. I believe it's on YouTube. Yeah, that was a great video. So do you want to say anything about the event? Okay. Good. So thank you for putting that on. David, thank you for setting up the event in Auburn. Yeah, the talk, and we just did an event in Folsom. Is that? Now we got coming up the biggie for us. This is our big annual event. We did thousands of people last year. 200. How many tests?
250.
250 test drives. 700 some miles of test drives. I don't remember how many faces were painted. There were a whole bunch of children's faces painted. We interacted with thousands of people, and we're going to do it again. This is, I think we had the opportunity here to even knock the socks off our last record. So this is going to be exciting. We've got a lot of people working on this. Laura, George, David, all of Tom. Go around the room. Half the people in the room are working on bringing this forward. So, and again, we've got some really terrific sponsors for SMUD, Nissan, Clipper Creek again. David, who else?
Too many.
Clean Air Coalition, Clean Cities Coalition.
Valley Solar as well.
Valley
They give money.
And the dealers, this is a big change this year. Several big changes this year. One of them is that dealers are paying the count. For them to be exclusive dealers for a certain brand, they voted up, and that's going to help give us working money to do things such as help so Beth doesn't have to pay for the education table out of her own pocket like she has for the last 2 years. So Beth, get some receipts sent in. She's going to do some help mothers some again a kids table of solar and electric power, electric cars. But it's this coming Sunday, as everybody I think knows, but we still need some more volunteers for that. Suzette is leading this effort of gathering of volunteers. Suzette, you want to say a few words?
Laura.
Suzette.
No.
Suzette?
No.
I'm not Suzette.
Becky.
I'm just going to sit here and let you.
Yeah, you were just staring at me like, what are you talking about?
So I'm going to be here till just about 7:30. But what Guy is referring to as, if you've ever been to this event in the last several years at the Folsom Outlets, it's a huge event. It's very successful, and each year we want to continue to grow and learn from our mistakes. So with that said, it's only successful with volunteers, such as me, by the way. And of course, Suzette will be out there, I'm sure, it's not. But if you want to volunteer, I have tremendous need in various different spots, whether it's helping at David Becker at the Ride and Drive, whether it's helping at the charging stations, because as all of these cars come in after doing test rides, they're going to need charging. So we have that capability. We also need help with the SacEV tables. One of our biggest goals is education. Without education, you can't sell vehicles. So if you want to share your enthusiasm and share some education, we need that. We also need traffic control. Again, with all the test drives that we're going to be doing, we need to make sure that everyone is safe. Workplace charging, as you know through our efforts, is very big for us. And last but not least, photography, videography, anything that you can lend some time to. I'll be more than happy to take your email addresses. I'm going to be coordinating this in the next day or so and sending out our needs. We're virtually in it for 2 time frames, 9 to 1 and 12:30 to 6. We need event setup, we need event tear down. We can't do it alone. Yes,
For traffic control, do we have anything like visibility vests or something?
Yes,
Yes,
we're
we're
providing
providing
that.
that.
Okay,
We
good.
have a target for you.
We need 2 shifts of that, at least 2 people.
This year it's at the Whole Foods at the Palladio in Folsom. We've moved events space. Are personal cars going to be on display or no?
Yes,
Yes.
we have 35, but
35 what?
35 owners are bringing their vehicles, which is good. But I don't have any Mitsubishis or Honda Fits or C-Max Energies or Fusion Energies. If anybody has those, please see me afterwards. Let me mark you down. We need some of those.
So with that said, kind of to touch base with what David's
Good,
saying,
good.
we have 2 electric vehicles, and while they don't necessarily need to be in David's 35 count, they're going to be parked throughout the Palladio, which kind of gives us more recognition. So if you're coming, or if you just want to come out and show your support, you can only be there for an hour or 2. Bring your car, park it, let people see it.
And if you're going to do that, it would be nice if you just used your own dot matrix or whatever kind of printer you have and make up some signs specifically that you could stick on the windows of the car.
So
That says SMUD and a little bit about it, because some people will walk right by and not even know.
What George is talking about is for the vehicles that we're displaying, and if anybody wants a copy of it, I'm sure David can email it to you. But we're putting these
Without
signs
that
in
distance.
your own specific oil-free miles. So for David, it's 19,000 oil-free miles to go in the dashboard or under the window wiper. To tell people, you know, what we're doing and what our sustainability plans are. I'm sorry. Absolutely.
Yes, you may.
And if you're out in the parking lot,
Yeah.
82,000.
So again, if you can volunteer some time, again, we're mostly 9 to 1 and 12:30 to 6. So please see me.
Steve, could you tell me again which 4 models you still need?
We need Mitsubishis, we need Fit EVs, Fusion Energies, and we have 1 C-Max connected with El Dorado Air Quality Management District. Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Cadillac is going to be on the ELR.
Oh, that's right, we lost our Cadillac too.
oh, yeah.
We had 1 Cadillac and the person came from.
I'll ask my coworker.
Okay.
Great.
Hey, Laura, if he needs me to drive it, let me know.
Becky is so.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You have a BMW.
We don't have any i3s at all.
Great. So
No.
it's going to be an outstanding event. I did get a chance to show you our sales for the last 2 months, but they're still up and climbing. We're doing. If you've heard, there's been some articles out there saying that EV sales are stagnating. They are not.
No,
They are growing strongly. There's some hybrid sales, plain non-plug-in hybrid sales that are stagnating a bit, but I think those are being cannibalized over for our EVs. So what we're doing is working, and you can see California is 100,000 unit sales already. We're a big part of that. So lastly,
Talk about time to be there if you are leaving the car.
That'll go out to them.
Before 9 a.m.
the event starts at 10. Hey, you probably received from a SacEV distribution list a little blurb about it, with a short blurb and a long blurb. Send those out, put them on your Facebook page, send out an email distribution list you have. Let's get the word out there. We're bringing over a lot of resources to make this a great event. We want to make sure people are going to come to it and get a chance to enjoy it. George.
Okay, Guy's probably not happy about what I'm going to share, because I think we ought to not surprise anybody. Everybody and anybody that's going to be there all day, who's going to be there from 9 through 4-ish, make sure you check in with the SacEV table. We are going to find a way to provide lunch credits. Okay, so do not go and buy your own lunch if you're going to be there all day. We will be picking up lunch expenses.
That's part of the other piece. You need to register with you.
Yeah, she'll have the tickets. Yes.
Yes, and I'm going to get to that. I know a lot of you have communicated with either Guy or you're on the volunteer list. I'm going to take that list, and you're going to be hearing from me in the next day or so. So if you're going to be there all day, again, there's T-shirts for people, and then again possibly lunch, but you need to register with me.
Go ahead, David. We do have one problem this year. We cannot have a Tesla Model S for the ride and drive. And that's because Tesla redid their factory for Model X, and they got behind. They ended up having to take a lot of the people away from the service centers and use them to get cars finished, get them sold. Yeah, only one at Rockland right now, and that'll probably be gone. So we're trying to come up with an alternative without having Tesla owners in insurance problems. There's no way we can ask you to have somebody drive your car. That's not something we want to do. But we're considering maybe a ride along, where somebody's interested, they go as a passenger in your car and you drive them, which should make it a much better insurance situation. Give them a feeling, take them on the short course we have, that's only a couple miles long. Just give them a feeling of the Tesla grin. They come back, and then they will see Laura?
Well, my husband.
Okay, Laura's husband will have a paper that will enable him to take it up to Rockland to get a test drive from Tesla itself. And some other goodies. You also receive an electronic information sheet of everything, a brochure for the entire Tesla line right now. So if you think you might be able to do that, do a ride along, please see me afterwards too. We'd only need somebody available for maybe an hour or two, switch off to somebody else after that. We're not expecting to do 100 of those at all. Just a few to get people that feeling.
Okay, so to wrap things up, again, always check the calendar, the SacEV calendar for events.
Okay, hi. So it's pretty simply put, it's if you're an owner of a plug-in electric vehicle and you refer someone, you're a friend of yours or someone, a stranger, you meet anyone, they end up buying an electric car, you get $200. You can do it 2 times, and if you have more questions, ask me. We'll have more information out really soon. Yeah.
Is there a starting date or after?
Yeah. So that's it. Make some money, sell some electric cars.
Well, and this is
2 of them per family.
2 per family or 2 per person?
I'll have to check up on that.
See what we're about per family.
Per family? All right.
Yes.
Oh, there's.
So the region, the car has to be purchased in the SacEV 6 county district.
The SacEV 6 county district.
Good evening, folks. My name is Ralph. I'm with the Electric Vehicle Department here at SMUD, and my friend David Hatfield is conducting a research project. You can't hear me. Can you hear me now? There we go. Much better. Okay. Again, my name is Ralph. I'm with the Electric Vehicle Department here at SMUD, and my friend David Hatfield is conducting a power quality study based on power quality issues we're hearing about. So we're looking for volunteers to complete this form. What we're going to do is, if you agree to the service, we'll come out and put the instrumentations on your equipment. We're going to keep it there for a few days, do some power quality measurements, and then come get it and say thank you very much. It's no cost to you. We just need permission from you to come and do it. So we really appreciate your help so we can figure out what's happening in the field. So thank you. Anybody got any questions? The forms are in the back. Suzette has the forms. Yeah.
Okay, at this stage, I'm only plugging in to a 110. Is that working?
Yes, 110 or 220. Level 1 or level 2 is acceptable, either one.
Give us the forms.
She's passing them out. So we appreciate the help.
Gotta be a SMUD customer though, right?
Yeah, SMUD customer. Did Matt come to his speech?
I sit over you and Matt both. Hey, folks, one of the most important topics we had the last meeting, and again, it's still a important topic to EV drivers in our region, is understanding what's going on with respect to the city and the parking garages. So Matt Eierman has volunteered to come up and give us some updates and talk about how we can work together in the future. So Matt, I'm sorry about almost overlooking you, but thank you.
No problem.
Glad you can come out.
Great. And I'm the city's parking manager for the city of Sacramento, and I have oversight of all the electric vehicle charging stations within our off-street parking garages. As a guy mentioned, I came before this forum July 9th, and we talked about some of the brief history of the charging stations. We talked about some of our challenges and also some of your challenges as well. And one of the topics that I brought up is the 1994 policy that we are working off of currently today. Back in 1994, our council adopted a resolution that basically outlines our electric vehicle policy that we're using today. You know, it really hasn't really been a big issue, but as time is going on and as the vehicle infrastructure is growing and the vehicles are coming into the garage, it has started to exceed some of the regulations in the resolution. So I just wanted to kind of touch base a little and let you know what changes are occurring. The actual policy states that when the actual transactions of EVs exceeds 5% of overall transactions, that garage becomes off the program. It's still on the program, but it becomes a fee to park at 50% of the market rate. Okay, so I mentioned in the last meeting that the city garage in April of this year has exceeded the 5% threshold. So as of October 1st, the City Hall garage located at 10th and I Street will no longer be free to park there at the garage. It will not be, it'll be on the program, but it'll be on its own separate program. So the remaining 4 garages, the Memorial Garage, the Tower Bridge Garage, and the Old Sac Garage, and the Capitol Garage will remain free for EV users to use. So we have sent out emails to current customers. We've sent out letters to your home to make a decision, or else the default decision will be that you will no longer have access to the City Hall garage. So I just wanted to update this group, and you know, if there's any questions of me, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
If you chose to go with the current situation you already have because you're not using that garage, and you do need to go use that garage, do we pay full price or do we pay 50%?
Well, if you you mean just go there for the day?
Yeah.
We don't do our program that way. You have to sign up as a monthly parker.
So it's still happening monthly parking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Charging will still be free. We're not charging for to actually charge your vehicle. It's just the parking fee that is and it's $185 is the market rate to park there on a monthly basis. So that makes it $92.50 if EVs want to use that garage. And if you use that garage, you get all garages in our system.
Does that apply to weekends as well?
Same as yes. So.
Can you continue using the other garages for free without paying for the main garage?
Yes, yes. So if you decide that you want to still remain on the free program, you will have access to all the other garages, but not City Hall garage specifically.
I just want to compliment your agency for the wonderful job they've done. It's the biggest EV public charging infrastructure in any city that I've been in all of California.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. We will continue. In fact, Ralph is breaking ground tonight. Right, we're trenching some new transformers, 13 new EVs charging stations going in the depot, Sacramento depot. So we are continuing our efforts and working with our partners to make sure that we continue to grow the infrastructure.
Curiosity of those other 4 garages, are any of them getting close to the 5%?
You know, I took a look at the numbers, and no. The answer is no. Not even 10th of an L. So there's a whole bunch of factors, right? How many cars come in, how many cars leave, how many EVs come in. So, you know, if you have a lot of cars coming in and out, it really takes a while to get up to that 5%.
Is that 5% of total TransStar revenue?
Total transactions, so any ins, any outs.
So something like 10th and L where you have a lot more in and out transactions.
It's going to be a longer time to get to that 5%.
What is the capacity of the City Hall garage roughly?
It's about 988 stalls.
There are over 100 are EVs already?
Yeah. We have over 600 people on our program. So it is a very good, successful program and continuing to grow daily.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to talk to the people who have worked out innovative programs for people who use that garage to make sure they share the charging stations too.
Yeah, it was easier in the early days when it was early adopters who enjoyed playing nights. It's not always that way anymore.
You have 3 people in your group now?
In our group?
Yeah, where you have one person start, the next person moves in, and the next person finishes.
We don't necessarily set up teams. I know some of the other agencies have teams, and they go out and swap every 3 hours. And so you'll see 3 to 4 swaps in a 9-hour period.
That's similar.
Okay. I can have a question.
What's the breakdown of the 600 users and commuters that go there every day and people that just visit? Because it sounds like a big number, and I'm on the program, but I don't go every day.
Right. We took a look at the last 6 months of usage to see how many of those 600 people were on there, and there was about 450 users that were pretty frequent.
Wow. Matt,
yes.
In July you mentioned that you guys are going to be revisiting the 1994 policy. Do you know what your time frame is for that?
Yeah, we have a lot going on in the parking division, which is a good thing, right? We are modernizing our parking efforts. 6,000 smart meters on the streets. We have auto view license plate recognition out on the street as well, and we have an arena being built right in the middle of our downtown. So that means that we have a lot of policies that need to be revised and looked at. And we have about 108 tasks that we've identified to really modernize within the next year and a half. So I figured that it's going to be about 6 to 8 months before we can get to this policy and take a look at it.
Added chargers in that downtown plaza parking structure. Is this arrangement with the developers? Are they going to continue to keep those chargers active, or do you shut them off?
In the negotiations, we actually said the chargers belong to us. So we're taking the chargers with us.
Okay. I'll see you.
Make the Kings pay for new ones.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
Two meetings in a row he's been down here. I appreciate that. So we're going to wrap up. This is a last An award we got from, something we got from SMUD are these things that be able to put in your window, say when you're allowed to be, unplug your car, if they are. The backside they can call you and contact you on cell phone or text you.
Except be careful on some of these, some spots you must be plugged in to park in that spot. So make sure you don't use this if you're in a parking spot where you have to be actively charging.
Where you can't be sharing the plug in
Yes.
another spot. So these are going to be outside that room. We need to clear this room fairly quickly so it can be set up for a classroom tomorrow morning. Something quick, again?
Yeah, how are you supposed to see the backside?
I was wondering the same question.
Yes,
Hang it somewhere in the middle.
Take two.
There are plenty. If you need to take two, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Thank you all for coming and seeing the new Leaf. Appreciate your support.
Are you collecting these?
Yes, you can just leave them on the table and I'll clean up.
Thank you so much. The form was a little bit incomplete. You got level 1, level 2, but some of us will have a higher power level.